Welcome to another episode of Fixing Bugs and Stuff. We're going to start checking VW heads. Okay, so we're going to be checking this head right here with using this equipment here, and I'll explain what I created here. Okay, so I'll start off with, let's say the end. Okay, this end will go on to the head itself if you're going to test it. So, meaning that if you're going to test the intake of the head, we'll take this piece, you will stick it on here as it's operating. You can see it here. So I'll show how that's done, but I can explain this further. I'll start from the beginning. So this piece here, this is just it's an adhesive, not adhesive, but it's a pad that has adhesive backing to it. And it kind of looks like this. About a 1/4 inch. It's got adhesive backing to it. And what this does, creates a sealing surface on your head itself. And then this piece here, I had some scrap. I'm not sure what size that is. Maybe 3/8 thick. It's like a scrap aluminum like that. And I made a hole in the center of it so the vacuum can go through. And it has a hose barb here. And when I bought this gauge here, I think I paid like 16 or 17 bucks. It came with all this tubing here, which was nice. And I believe I got this at Harbor Freight. And then I added this, you don't have to have this, but I did add, I did add a ball valve here, just to shut it and close it. If I shut it with the vacuum on, it'll definitely show me in the gauge how long it holds the vacuum itself, which is very helpful. Let's see what else. You don't have to have this. If it's continually vacuuming and this gauge shows that it's doing well, then you don't have to have the ball valve, just extra. And then this guy over here, this little strange contraption. This is like a Venturi system. I believe I got this for like $7 at Harbor Freight. If you get one of those, if you buy one at Harbor Freight, I just took out the housing. I took the housing apart completely and just left this. It's easier to manage. Added a fitting for my air. This is going to my compressor. And I think this came with the unit itself when you buy it from Harbor Freight. Either that or you can buy this separately on Amazon. So I think total cost me like $50. But you're probably wondering, why are you doing all this stuff? This makes no sense. I'll show you in a little bit. It's going to be a little loud, but you want to check your heads before you start using them on your engine. Very important. I don't care where you get your heads from. I don't care if you get your heads rebuilt. I don't care if you get your heads brand new. You always should check the heads. So, checking the heads, what I normally do, as I plug this into the compressor, I take this side and I'll start sealing up here. And then I'll look at the gauge and see where it reads. And the gauge itself, it'll tell you how bad the heads are. You can see in here if it's in the green. All depends upon what you're looking for. You have a little bit of air escaping. I like to have no air. So I can show you how that's done. That's all we're doing. We're doing it to the intake on both sides. That's why this is kind of small. So that way it fits here. I'm going to be testing that. And eventually I'll be testing the actual exhaust too. So what you're looking for is making sure that all these valves are sealing properly. And if they're not, you're going to lose compression. So it's going to be a little bit loud. It's going to be hard for you to hear. Probably play some fancy music for you all to see. But at the same time, you can watch the gauge. Before we get started here, I will plug in my compressor line here. And I will use this end to start testing the intake. So I'll go to this one first and see how well it pulls a vacuum. You'll see the gauge go up. And then what I'll do is I will back it off. I would shut off the ball valve here, and we'll see how long it drops down. It should take like 5-6 seconds for it to drop down, but then you know you have a good seal. Once it holds it on there and this gauge goes up and it doesn't really move, it doesn't drop, it just kind of like deadheads out, you know you got a good seal. So I'll test these two and see what the results are. So it's going to be a little loud. You're going to hear some music instead. I'm sure you don't want to hear this whooshing or the compressor be running. Just take a look at the gauge. As you saw, I tested the intake manifold, and this was fine. I did cut off. I did cut off with the ball valve, and you saw it dropped. It didn't drop immediately, dropped slowly, which is good. So this valve is seating very well. I went to this one, and it barely held the vacuum at all. So this one, I know it has a drop valve seat in it. I just wanted to test it to make sure, but I know it does for a fact. The exhausts were fine, which is great. But again, I encourage anytime you get heads, whether new or used or manufactured or rebuilt, you definitely want to have this kind of setup. Didn't cost much. Again, it's like $50. Easy to make. It's a nice reassurance when you put the engine together. You won't have any issues. You want to address it here and not when it's attached to the engine. Okay, guys, let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And thank you for watching.